Punk, we're going to have a completely different perspective because I've thought about it for a few days.
Oh, and something happened. Do you know what happened?
What happened?
It was with Jack Perry. It was not in AEW. I can go over it when we get to Punk.
Oh, you're talking the thing tonight where he had the match in Chicago?
Yeah.
And he came out completely mock Punk?
Oh my god. Fucking love it.
This might be the thing for Jack Perry.
If they ride the momentum, kind of just jumping into it, that's fine. I can do the intro later. If they lean into it, if they use this momentum, which they suck at doing, right? You have Hangman.
Sometimes. They're really good at getting you to that point, and then when you get to the point, then they don't have a story for you. That was the thing with Hangman. That build for Hangman was so good, and then they got him the belt, and then it was like popcorn fart.
But then, and then there was Hangman, Mercedes comes to mind. Christ, there's just Ruby Soho. Soho had such a huge pop when she came in, and they just didn't do anything with her. She just disappeared. CM Punk, for Christ's sakes, he came in hot, and they just hey, you want to wrestle Hobbs? And then he disappeared for a few weeks.
Hey, welcome to the BREWDCAST.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the BREWDCAST. I am, as always, Gail Robinson? Who's Gail Robinson? I'm Gail Robinson, and this is Town Drunk. How you doing, Town?
I'm good. That Gail Rollinson?
Gail Rollinson. It's my new gimmick. I gotta talk to this booker. He doesn't get me, I don't think.
It's not me anymore, so I'm good.
That's true.
We're just gonna touch on Punk, the video, Jack Perry, and then I think we'll just talk about Mania quick. I think those are the kind of the things we need to hit. We were a couple days removed from the video coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I think as I've processed that video, I don't know what good it does AEW.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
And I think that's going to kind of be the thing. If you watch the video and you think CM Punk is innocent, you're an idiot. Okay? He was the aggressor, but we knew that.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't change anybody's opinion, and I think that's kind of the biggest thing, is that video wasn't some damning thing. We don't even have audio for it, so you can't actually hear what was said, but it's kind of one of these deals where the people that love CM Punk and the WWE fans are going to look at it and go, they're going to make him look like, he beat up those AEW stars. Good, because they hate AEW. The AEW people are like, well, yeah, he's a dick. We knew that already. So what did we really accomplish? I don't think we accomplished anything. I think it shows how unhinged he was. I think it shows how mad and crabby he was.
Mm-hmm.
I still think when you are at the center of everything that always happens, and every time you leave a company, it's like this. It's not the companies, it's you. And I think that's just kind of what it is. And I'm looking at this WWE run, and it reminds me a lot of his AEW run at the start. It's so good, everything's good. I love this place.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going to happen at some point. It's his track record. It's who he is as a person.
It's also he's always been this prickly person, as we've discussed on this podcast a million times. But he has gone through a foot injury and 2 triceps injuries. That's going to fuck with anybody's brain, and it's going to break down those barriers that they might have had up. That was keeping them from being socially unacceptable.
It has to be really frustrating that every time you have a match, you get fucking hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to be frustrating, especially for a guy that, for a long time in his WWE career, wrestled through some shit. But he's not young anymore. He's an old guy, but he's that old grizzled veteran who's pissed. And it almost seems like in AEW he was trying to hold on to that spot. I can't. One of the things that irks me about watching that interview with him at Brawl Out is, I'm the top guy. I'm the top guy. Why would you do your top guy? He kept calling himself the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay, you're probably the top draw. But there's other guys that are probably better than you in the ring. You know what I mean?
But I think that was Tony more than him. Okay.
Yeah.
No, maybe not more than him, but equally.
Yeah, Tony fed that.
It was
beast.
absolutely because Tony's
definitely
his biggest
fed that
fan.
beast. Yeah, and I think that was the other problem. I think as we look back on this, and I think we look at AEW and we go, probably we're in a low point. And there's 100 ways they could go. They have too much talent, and they have too many positive things to really kind of crap the bed. But like the infatuation with CM Punk was their undoing, because all the momentum that they had, it just unraveled with that man. Like he brought them down, and I'm not blaming Punk solely, and I'm not blaming Tony Khan solely. I'm not blaming the Young Bucks. It was a perfect storm of shit. Completely.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
I look at the thing and I go, if I'm AEW, just move on. Tony Schiavone had the right idea. When they were doing that, he just turned his head away and was just like this, shaking his head, like, why the fuck are we doing this? And I think that's the best. I think that's the best analogy right now. Is just, this is stupid. Why did we do this?
Just as an aside, I have read since that happened that Tony Schiavone was just being in character towards the Young Bucks. I understand that, like,
I don't think Tony wanted to do it though. I don't think a lot of people did.
It's like, what do you gain from this? That's the thing. And the only thing I can think is that, like, maybe the Young Bucks were like, you know what would be great for us in going into this match is if we could show the brawl out footage. But we can't.
I don't think
because it's an NDA. But I don't think it was the Bucks' idea.
It was Tony.
Yeah.
It was very clearly Tony being pissed. So Tony heard that interview, was pissed. He talked about it, and was like, here you fucking go. Here it is.
Yeah.
And Punk was not truthful about what happened.
No. Yeah, I mean.
But again, like I said, his fans aren't going to care.
Yeah.
It's strange because if anybody that didn't know wrestling watched it, they would say, whoa, that guy's an ass. Like, what's wrong with him? But then everybody else that knows wrestling is just like, well, that's Punk. And his fans are just like, it made him more popular.
You said that, and I was like, I immediately thought of Ariel Helwani. He posted Punk's, like, after the CCTV thing, he posted Punk's, like, that chunk where he described the information. And he's like, look at this, listen to this very accurate PvP, play-by-play. And I'm like, that's not what's happening on the screen, like, and it's a perfect analogy of, like, how CM Punk's fans are going to see this. They're going to see this and they're going to go, oh yeah,
and the WWE fans.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the biggest. I think that's the biggest issue with wrestling right now, is that these fans are so polarized and they're stupid, because why wouldn't you want more wrestling that's good?
Yeah.
Like, I've been an AEW fan pretty much strictly since AEW started. And before that, I was very much a relapsed WWE fan that couldn't stand the product because it was terrible. Because it was terrible. WWE was terrible. WWE from like 2007 to 2023 sucked. It sucked. And it pushed a lot of people away. That's a long time. That's 15 years of shit. And they never had any saving graces. They had Daniel Bryan winning the championship at WrestleMania 30. They had 35 where Ronda and them had the main event, which was great. But beyond that, they didn't have anything that was like, this is a moment. And then they come out this year with WrestleMania, and they actually hit a home run. They hit a huge home run.
They did.
And I give Triple H all the credit. I give WWE all the credit. They went from being terrible. They were in terms of the product, there was like 7 or 8 promotions in the world that were better than them. And now no one is. Now they're top dog. Like, boom, there it is. They put it down. They have the money. They have the talent. They have the people. They have the production. They have all that shit. This is what it should have been from the start. This never should have changed. Like, AEW never should have come out and kicked their ass. There's no way they should have. But I think AEW is the catalyst of why WWE turned it around. Yeah. Because without AEW, I mean, Triple H, smart guy, looking at what AEW is doing. Let's do that. And that's what they did. Cody was a good get, and now they're talking Hook might go. And I think Tony's in a spot. I think he's got to focus up, and I think he's got to decide what his product's going to be. And I hope he just leans into, let's put on good matches. And I just, the AEW storylines seem so much worse now than they were 2 years ago, and I don't know why. Am I just looking? Am I looking back with rose-colored glasses, or have they gotten worse? Like seriously, I can't.
We have complained about their storylines before. I think that they've had a few that have really knocked it out of the park. But for the most part, they're kind of just fine.
They're basic.
But the thing that gets you in is the match, right? Like the CMLL thing. Like storyline wise, like there wasn't very much production. It was just kind of like these guys for some reason don't like each other. But then you get to the match, and it's an awesome match. They did that 8-man tag, I think it was, between the BCC and CMLL. Great match, and it leads into having them at Forbidden Door. That's great. In that sense, like storyline wise, that's where WWE has them beat. They know how to tell the story incredibly every time. They don't always, but they can. No. Production, yes.
Storyline, production, presentation, star power. Mm-hmm. They have star power, and they know how to use star power, and they know how to make stars. Mm-hmm. And they've shown that. Like they've made stars now. Like I've knocked WWE for so long. They've made stars. There's stars there that they made, and they're not. And it's great. I think it's great. I think we've come off anti-WWE here a lot, and I think a lot of that had to do with that previous person in charge, and I think a lot of it had to do with how bad it was. It was terrible, and we hold it to a higher standard because we were there. We were at the heart of the Attitude Era. We were that age in the Attitude Era. We lived it. We breathed it. We slept it. We ate it. It was everything. It consumed us, and the product just went so south and became so bad. And now it's like, I enjoyed WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. And so did you.
I did.
Whether or not you want to say it.
No, I did. I enjoyed WrestleMania.
It was a great show. Like there was no bad part of it. It was just a good show. Let's just segue. Let's go over Mania.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about Punk. I don't think there's anything else to say about Punk. We've talked about it. It is what it is. It was a stupid idea.
Yes.
He is who he is. Tony needs to get his head out of his butt.
He needs to be done. I think the only person that's going to benefit from this is Jack Perry. And he doesn't have to stay with AEW. That's all I'm saying.
Could you imagine if he went to WWE?
Oh God.
I half want to see it. I'm just like, it would be so. Could you imagine like in WWE if Punk was out there and then freaking Perry and the Young Bucks came out and jumped him like in Chicago? Mm-hmm.
Bro. Right.
Oh.
That place would be nuclear.
I think there is what Tony Khan didn't do. He didn't have the understanding that you fuckers need to get along. This is what people want to see. This is what's going to sell tickets. Because had they done Punk against the Bucks and Omega in some form, that would have been the moment. That would have been the moment where they could have passed Raw. That literally would have been the moment where they would have been like to the next level. But he didn't want to do that. And I get it. I get Tony is not a promoter like they are over there. I get that Tony's not going to force people into that shit. And I get that Tony cares about he cares more about his wrestlers, which I think is awesome. Mm-hmm. But you also have to be a boss, and you also have to look at that situation and go, we left a lot of money on the table. And I think if I'm Triple H and Jack Perry's contract's out, I'm going to offer a lot of money. I'm going to offer a lot of money because that would be... Could you imagine if Punk was in Chicago and Perry came out of the crowd to hit him with a go to sleep? Mm-hmm. And like posed over him? I mean, he would be the biggest heel in the business. He would be the biggest heel in the business.
He would.
And my concern right now is that as I'm sitting here and I'm looking at these free agents, like Hook, if I'm Hook, could you imagine Hook showing up on Raw?
I mean, that's my thing too, is like, I keep going back to, for a long time, AEW was the hot spot for guys who wanted to wrestle. And now you can go to this other place. Like, you can go to WWE now because they're not going to fuck you up.
That's bigger and has bigger audience and has the stuff, and they'll make you a star and they'll do all this crap and they're going to pay you money because they have to, because AEW is paying money. So I'm looking now and I'm like, I do think a person like Will Ospreay or Okada, I think they're way better served in AEW.
Yeah.
I think they are, but I'm looking at like Hook, I'm like, or Jack Perry, kind of like, Jack Perry's a star. I've been saying that for how long? It's just a matter of putting him in that spot and letting him have that moment, and they're not, they have to build and they kind of have to put, and they have not done a great job with it. Here it is. Here's the moment. Let's go.
It's true. I thought for sure he was done because he has been on the back burner for so long. Like he was gone for so long, and I'm like, that's it. He's not going to be considered one of the pillars anymore. That's clearly not the case. He fired right back up.
I don't think AEW's going to go out of business. I don't think they're that bad.
No.
I think I think they're in a spot where, I'm going to be honest, I think they're in a spot where if they don't find that identity and kind of move into a place where they're doing their own shit and forgetting about what's going on up there, they're gonna trail off a little more, and they're kind of going to be like a really distant number 2. And that's just going to kind of be their spot. They're going to kind of fall into the TNA mode.
I was just going to say they might wind up being that sub 0.1 situation where TNA was, and they're going to wind up on a weird station that nobody's ever heard of. I don't know.
That's the biggest thing they have right now is the TV. And they have to, they lose that, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. Especially considering they've paid these guys shitloads of money. You know what I mean? So they if they land a really big TV contract, which I feel like they will, I don't think they're going to get WWE money, but I think they're going to get a pretty solid. They're a top-rated show. I could see them dropping Collision. I think that would be great. I think that would help them out immensely. I think Collision is just not viable.
It's unnecessary
on a Saturday, especially. They need to trim the roster. They need to have fewer people, and they need to have a little more focus, and they need getting rid of Dark Elevation was not the best move, but I get why they did it. I understand it because they want everything had to be on Turner, but man, getting Dark Elevation back and having that show on YouTube, a lot of people liked it. That was a fun little watch, and it was good to kind of get some people introduced. You could do some stuff on them. You could slowly bring them up to Rampage, and you could show that. Now you don't really have that. You know what I mean? You don't have that. It was almost like a little feeders thing. And they have ROH, but ROH is really hard to watch. not in ring wise, but it's really hard to find ROH.
Yeah.
So you just kind of go. So
yeah,
WrestleMania.
Yes.
WrestleMania, because we're going on a rant.
WrestleMania happened. In case you were curious, so first match, first night, Rhea Ripley defeats Becky Lynch.
Great match.
This was a dope match. Very much reminded me of NXT, like Becky Lynch's time NXT. It was a great opener. Loved it.
Rhea had to win, I think. I think the presentation of Rhea was great. I think Rhea is just fucking star.
Yeah.
She's so good. She's so popular. Her character is amazing. Everything she does is just good.
I agree.
And Becky's great too. Don't get me wrong. Becky's great too. But I feel like Becky needs, I don't know, like a fresh inning maybe. Just like a little time away, which she's taking some time off.
That's good.
With Seth. So I think that might help when they come back.
Yeah.
Because I like Becky, but I was watching this match. The crowd did not want her to win, and I did not want her to win.
So the next match, 6-pack tag team ladder match. A-Town and Down Under are the new SmackDown tag champions, and Awesome Truth are the new Raw tag team champions.
Very, very happy R-Truth got that win. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was great to
This ladder match to me was a basic WWE ladder match. I'm spoiled because AEW's ladder matches are better.
I mean, yeah.
And that's really what it came down to. This was that sports entertainment spotty ladder match. And then I look at like Sammy Guevara have a ladder match, and I'm like, you didn't really match that. I didn't think this match was bad. I'm not saying that. It was just, I've seen way better ladder matches very recently.
Yeah.
From AEW.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had this problem throughout the card, and I'm sure I'll comment on it, where I would be like, yeah, this is WWE match because I see them doing that, and I see them doing that. Like the table spot. I swear to God, every fucking match had a table spot where they were going to drive somebody through the announce table, or they smashed them into their head into the announce table. Like, and that's not. It's just boring.
Do something different.
Some of them were cool, but some of them were just like.
But that is the part of the AEW product that we like better.
Yeah,
we have said that before. Is every AEW match has its own little thing going on. It's different. You could have a technical match. You could have a high flying. You could have a weird bloody brawl. You could have Jon Moxley starting somebody on fire. You never know what you're going to have.
That's true.
And WWE's a little more by the book.
Yeah, and all the matches are very, very, very similar, despite stylistic differences between the wrestlers. The other thing that I got from this match was that they're refocusing on tag team wrestling. Which is great. That was one thing I thought too. Because I initially did not want them to split those belts up. And then when they did, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh, they're going to run with this because they don't hate tag teams. They're going to let tag teams exist. And I think that... Trips is a tag guy, as
I think that, but I think that is another thing that AEW has dominated them on for a long time is tag team wrestling. Because WWE's tag team matches and their tag teams are just... have been terrible. Now I'm sitting here like, well, they got this tag team, that tag team's good, this tag team's good, this tag team's good. They're putting effort in. Great, awesome. Because like 1980s WWF tag team wrestling pretty much is the peak of tag team wrestling. That was incredible. They had everybody and everybody was good. So it's great. Let's do it again.
So the next match was Rey and Andrade defeating Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom. I didn't watch this.
Jason Kelsey came out in a lucha mask and took his shirt off, and I liked Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey's just a fun dude. This was just such a sports entertainment fluff match.
It sure was a match.
It was a fluff match. It had nothing. It wasn't bad, but it was also just kind of. It was there for a feel-good moment to get Jason Kelsey and those guys involved.
Yeah.
And it was there to pop the crowd, and that's what it did. It was great, awesome, cool. Moving on. I have nothing else to say about the match.
Jay defeated Jimmy Uso next. I think, this was not a good match. We have talked about this.
Did you see the star? Did you see the star rating it got?
No, I didn't.
0.75.
That tracks. They both have limited movesets, and this is where they really showcased that here.
They're too similar. And the match was laid out so bad. And they've had good matches with other people. Like, do they not have chemistry? This was bad.
I mean, it's possible.
This was like bad. Because I was expecting... This was one I was really looking forward to. So I'm like, oh, they're going to go out there and they're going to let them go. The match was weirdly short. And it was just like, what the fuck are we doing? On SmackDown, Tama Tonga debuted. Did you see that?
I did not.
And him and Solo beat the crap out of Jimmy Uso. So they're doing the Bloodline Civil War. Obviously, they're going to have Jay and Jimmy get back together as a tag team, I'm sure. Just kind of help. Because it makes sense.
Yeah, but I suppose.
But, yeah. This match wasn't... it was not good. It was not good. There was no moment that I remember. There was no nothing. It was laid out really poorly. It just was not a very good match. Yeah. This was the worst match of WrestleMania, and it was the biggest letdown because this was, like I said, I was super excited for this because they've been building to this match for like 10 freaking years, and then it was like a fart in church.
Truth. Speaking of very few memorable moments. The next match was Jade and Bianca and Naomi defeating Damage Control. I'm being a little bit harsh. Jade was really like the low point. She's still sloppy. Like, she's gotten much better, but she's still sloppy. But it was great to see. Those three women are great together. Damage Control is great together. It was a decent match. Like,
it was okay. It was what you expected it. It was a showcase for Jade. That's all they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Is she gonna make it?
Yeah, probably.
she's got the star power, she's got the look, but then I look at her like in ring work, and I'm looking at like the other women's matches in the show, and like, I don't know. You gonna hang with those people? Because you cannot hang with those people. And they had her in AEW. They had her in the ring with some people that were pretty good. I don't think they had her in the ring with anybody as good as what WWE has. I'm not gonna say they did, because like WWE has Rhea and Becky and Bayley and Io Sky.
So the next match, Sami Zayn defeats Gunther for the Intercontinental title. This is
glad Sammy won.
Kenny Omega's favorite match in WrestleMania this year.
They're both great.
Yeah.
I did not like the way they laid out the ending of this, where Gunther just killed him and then Sammy hit a kick, and then I just thought it was.
It's just
come on.
And also like the 15 false finishes. I hate that.
Trope. It was a trope. It was a trope. I got beat up, but now I'm gonna like Hulk up and fire up, and I'm gonna win this match. And I was just like, This was another one of the.
I don't know if this was the first match that did this, but I just kept thinking in the back of my head, all the times that you and Leon were complaining about Brock and Roman spamming their finishers, because that's what that felt like. He was just powerbomb, powerbomb, powerbomb. I don't know if that's his finisher, but powerbomb, powerbomb, power, like over and over again, and then somehow he gets back, and they got
the belt off of him.
Great,
which is good.
Great,
because he needs to move on. I think there would have been a better way to do it. That's just my opinion, and I think Sammy's great. Sammy's champ, awesome, cool. I love Sammy. You can't say anything about Sami Zayn. He's just awesome. It was a great worker,
and this was a great match. Like,
just, other than the ending,
just a little.
I totally
awkward.
Agree.
Yeah, at the end,
stupid ending.
Yes, stupid, not awkward. Maybe both. So the next match was the Bloodline, being The Rock and Roman Reigns, defeating Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
It's like 35 minutes of entrances, and then a match that was way long. A match you could have.
It was an hour long.
It was an 8-minute match.
It stretched out to be 50. It was, because it was this thing. It was the thing that was like real popular for a little while, where like, The Rock would hit a move and then he'd trash talk everybody. He'd go and talk to Mama Rhodes. Mama Rhodes, look here, look there. It's a different segment. And like,
it worked though, but it worked.
I mean, it worked, but it wasn't a wrestling match at that point. It was just The Rock.
No, it was like a really long. It was really long angle. It was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought this was great.
It's just not what I came. It's not what I came here for.
Yeah.
That's
I thought this match served its purpose. I thought it did what it needed to do. I thought it was a spectacle. I think The Rock being back was huge. I thought Roman looked really good. Roman looked amazing this whole weekend. I thought he was a star, and I think he was good. Like, the match was good. Seth looked good. Cody looked good. They told the story they needed to tell. I thought this match was good, but you are completely correct that was an 8-minute match stretched out to be 50. They could have done this in 8 minutes.
It's true. Yeah.
They could have, realistically, they probably should have been 20.
Yeah.
And they could have,
Yeah. Give us the 30 minutes.
Parts of it picked up a little bit, but like the first 12 minutes of this match had like legitimately 13 wrestling moves. And it was just, right. I'm going to walk here. I'm going to talk there. I'm going to do the spot where I pulled my hand out for a tag, and we're going to stare at each other for a minute. And that builds, and that's the piece WWE's really good at. And they did a good job with it, but it was just like, yeah, you're right. There's not much going on here.
It's fluff. Night 2, Drew McIntyre defeats Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title, I think.
Yeah. And then
Damian Priest comes out and steals it away because Drew McIntyre gets in Punk's face and Punk beats the crap out of Drew.
It was great. That was great. That moment was great.
Yeah.
This match was really good, and they told a really good story. I think they made Rollins look tough. They made Drew look great. That ending was great. Like, the match was great. This was another match. This is a really good match. From start to finish, I had no complaints about this match. And then the ending with Punk, I fucking loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great way to do it. I thought Punk knocking him on the table, taking off the tricep brace, and then just beating the shit out of him with it before he got pinned. Yeah, you have the hottest angle in wrestling right there.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and it's a lot of irony with it being Punk because we talk about that son of a bitch all the time. But this was really, and then Priest got the belt, which is great. It's awesome to see. So I have no
Undertaker.
Bisexual Undertaker. I have no complaints.
My one complaint is there were too many false finishes, but the entrances were, and I hated having Punk on commentary, but that's personal preference more than anything. It was a great moment. I'm glad that they gave Drew McIntyre his moment, brief as it was.
Yeah.
I'm also glad that Damian got his moment.
Drew has not resigned.
I've heard this.
So that could be part of it. But he's got like.
I feel like they're playing that up. I feel like they're playing that up.
There's no way. I think they are. They have, just like MJF.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because, my God, why would you, like, you're in the hottest feud with CM Punk. When you guys get in the ring, it's going to be crazy. He'll probably get hurt, but severed my spinal cord, out for 6 months. No, it's a hot angle. It's good. He'll resign, I think. This match was great. Nothing bad to say about it.
Agreed. Match number 3, The Pride, which was Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, defeated the Final Testament, which was Karrion Kross and Authors of Pain. That's who the other people were. I really dug this match. I thought it was really good. I don't think that you felt the same way.
No, I just thought it was... I didn't think much of it. I thought it was rushed. I thought it was, for being a Philadelphia rules street fight, you're in the home of ECW, and you didn't really do anything.
It was very confined, conservative. I would agree with that.
Yeah. And it was just kind of like, I'm glad they got their spot. I'm glad they were out there. I'm glad they gave these guys the chance to go out there. That's great. Because I like both factions. I think they're great.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's just like, that match was...
I think that was the reason... One of the reasons I liked it so much was that it reminded me of early NXT. Or not early, I guess. Like Sami Zayn era. Kevin Owens, all of those guys era. NXT. And I was glad that both stables got spotlight, because I think both of the stables are cool.
So was I. I like I said, I totally like this match. Or I didn't totally like this match. I'm glad they were there. This match was just not enough happened.
Yeah.
Just, it was there. I felt like they could have done more with it. I felt like they could have done some more spots. But it's just kind of, and again, you want to talk a street fight? I've seen Darby Allin in a street fight.
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you're not going to compete with that.
Yeah.
As WWE.
Yeah.
And again, there's strengths in both these companies right now.
Mm-hmm.
And WWE in a street fight is apparently much more limited than what AEW is, because in AEW there's like, you have a 64-year-old man jumping off of balconies and a guy doing a flip off a ladder through glass, looks like he's gonna die, and you're just like, this shit's crazy. And then you have just Jon Moxley, period.
Yes.
And then over here it's like, here, have a kendo stick, let me hit you with this. So there's a big difference.
Absolutely.
Big difference.
Absolutely.
And I think that might be part of why this match just didn't land.
I think that's largely why I don't prefer the WWE product. I've been struggling a lot with this, because I'm like, well, what happens if I don't like AEW anymore? And then I watched WrestleMania and I'm like, oh, right. And the more that I think about it, the more I'm like, AEW just has wrestling that I prefer. And if AEW goes out of business or stops whatever, like stops doing all of that, I go to NJPW, I go to TNA.
Yeah.
That's just not what I'm looking for.
Yeah. The in-ring work is vastly different in AEW, and I think AEW has a little more variety, and I think they go a little above and beyond it. I think that part of that WWE style is like that Randy Orton thing of don't do so much, which is okay, but I kind of want to see you do a lot, because that's what I like.
Yeah.
So, and everybody has their own opinion on it, and everybody has their own thing, and whatever.
Whatever.
There's room for everybody because I enjoy AEW and I enjoy WWE.
Yes.
I enjoyed WrestleMania, so keep going.
On the note of whatever, did you know that LA Knight defeated AJ Styles in a match that happened?
Just rip into LA Knight because I know you want to.
I don't get him. I do not get LA Knight. He says yeah, and everybody loves it. And I'm like, this guy, his theme song sounds like the kind of theme song that they cover up licensed theme songs on like DVDs for WWE. It doesn't have any personality at all. And he's just like, we've said it hundreds of times. He's like a 40, however old he is, trying to pretend that he's like a dad who's pretending to be a cool wrestler, and this is what he thinks a cool wrestler is, and everybody's stoked for it. And I'm like, I don't get it. Somebody explain it to me.
I don't think he's bad. I think he got his chance. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at him and I just kind of go, okay.
I'm not mad at him, and like he's this matchup is ironic in some ways because I look at AJ Styles and I think he just kind of morphed into a WWE guy. And so his matches in TNA were like high flying and very exciting, and this was all the stuff that people loved. And then he moved into WWE and it kind of had some of that, and it kind of started to go away. And like, yes, he does still do some of that stuff, but like he's a big beefy dude, which is great. But that's not how I remember AJ Styles, and so I just
AJ swole. He looked really swole.
He is. He's
what I thought.
He's a beefy boy, and that's.
I
great.
have nothing. This match did not hold my attention,
mm-hmm. But it also didn't offend me.
No, it was fine. I didn't think it was terrible. I just thought it was the build up to this. They put a lot into,
mm-hmm.
and I think the biggest thing that hurt LA Knight was The Rock coming back, because I think he was trying to steal the Rock shtick. He was your 45-year-old dad trying to act cool and be The Rock. It's just like, come on.
That's true. So the next match was Logan Paul with iShow Speed defeating Kevin Owens and Randall Kennedy Owens. That's not his name.
Randall Keith Orton.
Thank you.
Yeah. The highlight of this match was the guy in the bottle getting kicked and his top flew off. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul's really good.
Yeah.
I know Leon hates Logan Paul, and he will but like Logan Paul can work.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul comes, he puts in the effort. Logan Paul knows how to play the crowd. Logan Paul is a star.
And people hate him.
Yeah,
just inherently.
Legit.
And he doesn't get grumpy about it. He doesn't try and choke out people who talk shit to him or call any of the fans empty-headed dumb fucks. He just rolls with it. See what I did there?
I like that.
He puts them. Triple H put him in a match with Kevin Owens, who's fucking hilarious and is a great foil for Logan Paul, and Randy Orton, who is happy.
Randy.
He's having fun. Having. I didn't even know this man existed. It was a great match. I loved this.
This was a great match. Randy's. When he was younger and first got that push, I was not happy with it because I thought they pushed him just for. They wanted to get the youngest championship on him for other reasons. And I just looked at it and I always thought his initial work, he wasn't ready for that spot.
No.
And then when they made him, like the Daniel Bryan stuff where they were forcing him down everybody's throats, and him and Cena had that match where they slowed everything down to piss off the crowd, but then it just was like nuclear, this sucks heat.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly the worst match I've ever seen at a Royal Rumble. Now I look at him like, yeah, he can work, he can do stuff. I'm glad he's doing stuff. I'm glad he's having fun.
Yeah.
He's been there for a long time. He's been through some shit. Good.
Do it.
This match was great. Logan Paul won. I think it's smart. Keeping the belt on him.
I agree.
Because he's everywhere and he does everything and he reaches so many people, and it's like he appears to want to be there.
Yes. And that's the big thing. He's not doing it. It doesn't seem like he's doing it for the money. It seems like he's doing it because he wants to.
That's what's key.
So the next match, Bailey defeats Io Sky. This was a sick match. I loved this match.
I think in terms of in-ring work, I think this was the best match of Mania.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was close.
I agree.
Wow. There was some close, good matches, but this was the one where it was like from start to finish, it was like, this is it. Bailey got her moment. That's what we needed. We've all been waiting for that for 10 years. I don't know however long she's been there.
Mm-hmm. I can't disagree with you on any of that. And then we had Cody Rhodes defeating Roman Reigns. Or whatever. I don't even remember what happened.
That match was so fucking.
It was.
Are we gonna glaze over the Bailey match that quick?
Well, you sort of trailed off. I didn't have much else to say. Like it was an amazing match.
It was. The finish was great.
Mm-hmm.
The Bailey to belly. I just thought that moment for her was just incredible.
Yeah.
We can go to the main event. I have a lot to say about the main event.
Okay.
Cody won.
He sure did.
And that moment was fucking amazing, and I popped.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, holy fuck, this guy just won the belt. And they built him up, and they had all these stories. They did all this shit. It was fucking amazing. They pulled out every trick in that match.
Mm-hmm.
Meltzer didn't give it 5 stars.
I mean,
he gave it 4 points. He gave it 4.75, and all the WWE fans like, if it was in the Tokyo Dome, you would have given it 5 stars. And I thought about it because I'm like, as I watched it, I thought, man, it's a 5-star match. But now that I think about it, it's not. It's close, but I don't think it's quite a 5-star. Because of the shit that got involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the stuff in there is good, but I think it's such a sports entertainment match.
Yeah.
Cody looked great.
Mm-hmm. The Rock looked great.
When The Rock looked great.
Roman
Cena
looked great.
Cena looked like he was 70.
Oh my god. I'm legit worried about that man. I'm legit worried because he looks like he is 10 years older than The Rock, 20 years older than The Rock. Now, to be fair, The Rock doesn't age for some fucking reason. He just gets more muscly.
Well, he's taking those vitamins.
I don't know what you're referring to.
I think it's really good.
Are you talking about the gummy bears that you can get? Those things are awesome.
Yeah, gummy bears. Gal, gummy bears. I think Cena's just not as big as he was because I don't think the movie studios want him to be that big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a problem Arnold had when he started acting in the 1980s. Is he was like, dwarfing all these people, and they can't have that because like you're too big to be on a movie. So he had to shrink down a little bit. I think it's the same thing with Cena.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock, on the other hand, they always put him in movies where he's like,
he's the biggest dude in the room.
Yeah, which he is. Like, I don't know what room that guy's going to walk into and not be the biggest guy in the room. But I thought this match was great. I thought the run-ins were well done. I thought Solo coming out and Jimmy and Jay going through that table, that initial bump, looked terrible.
Yes.
And then I saw like how they landed the replay. I'm like, okay, that wasn't that bad.
It seemed okay.
Solo coming out, hitting the Samoan spike and just stealing the finish from last year's Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good troll move.
It was. And speaking of troll moves, the fucking
we're gonna
shield.
get to it.
Okay.
Let's just hold on.
All right,
we'll get there. Then Solo's there. Then when Cena came out, that pop was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cena took out Solo, which was awesome. Rock came out, took out Cena, and then the fucking Shield music hits, and that place was just one of Dean Ambrose.
Those fucking cunts. They knew. They knew.
Oh,
they knew.
I would have done it too. Could you imagine though if Moxley actually came out?
That place would have gone.
If Tony Khan was like, yeah, okay, you can have him for the night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tony in this current state would have done that.
No,
but
no, I think 3 or 4 years ago when he thought he could have a reasonable business partnership with them.
Yeah, but not
so much anymore.
So that was a troll, and then Roman just took him out, and then Rock's sitting there gonna whip the shit out of Cody, and then Taker's music hits. Then that place just went nuclear. Taker took out Rock. Then Roman made the call to not go after Cody. I'm gonna take out Seth because that motherfucker turned on me X amount of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Then Cody hit those 3 crossroads, and when he hit that pin, did you see Roman Reigns' face?
No.
He was fucking smiling. He was so happy. That's awesome. He was like, he's like, here's the moment. You could tell when that 3 hit, he was just grinning ear to ear. He was so, I mean, he gets it.
Mm-hmm.
He gets it. He gets a lot of shit, and he got forced down our throats, but he gets it, and his reign as a heel champion, you're not going to forget it.
Yeah.
And we can bitch about him not defending the belt, but
and his time being the top guy, I think affected him in much the same way as it did with RKO, is that he had to learn a lot more quickly. And I think it's for the better.
Yep. I mean, I think Leon's not here to shit on him, but I think he deserves some credit for what he did. I think he deserves. I think I'm curious now with Triple H here with him and the character he has and the way he changed when he comes back. I think it's pretty fucking good.
I think so.
The ending of Mania was the most AEW ending of a show I've ever seen. They were more AEW than AEW. They all came out, they did that. That's what AEW does. But I think as you try to push to a new era, change to do that. Because you know what? AEW, every time they do that, the response to that is always huge.
Yeah.
And Vince and Trips is just like, let's do that.
Yeah.
They stole a lot of shit from AEW. I did read a thing where they were talking about how we came into a new era. We had The Undertaker from the Golden Era. We had The Rock from the Attitude Era. We had John Cena from the PG era. And then we had Roman Reigns, who was kind of the big guy from the last era. So you had 4 guys from 4 different eras helping launch this new era.
I did not think of that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you hear who they wanted to be there?
Austin.
But they couldn't.
Would have been better.
Couldn't come to a financial agreement. And I believe it because his involvement in this would have been fucking huge. Like, it would have been massive. And he needs to be paid for that.
Him and fucking Rocky in that ring.
They need to do that.
Oh,
I really hope they do that. I know that I've said on this podcast before,
my God.
Austin needs to be done, but I think The Rock could pull a good match out of him. He'd carry.
I don't even think they don't even need to have a fucking match. They could have a team. Just having those two face to face in the ring.
It's true.
Heel Rock and face Austin.
You know what I really want? I really want The Rock to sort of like embrace this corporate whatever. And like he starts getting his group together, whatever that is, and like Trips starts bringing his group together. Give me a Survivor Series match where those two guys are not in the match, but like they made the teams. Like, give me that. That's awesome. That would be so like.
I'm curious to see. They did War Games at Survivor Series, which I think is awesome. I think bringing War Games back, beautiful, great match. But I would like to see a little more traditional Survivor Series because I love Survivor Series.
It was
late '80s, early '90s Survivor Series was fun. And then they just at some point they pissed away everything and they forgot what got them there, and it's just like, come on. The other thing that I want out of WWE, I don't want a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell. I don't want a pay-per-view called TLC. I don't want those. Those matches, use them when you need them. Don't tell me we're going to have 3 Hell in a Cell matches. I don't fucking want it. I want one.
Yeah.
I want one, and I want it to matter, and I'm hoping that they do that.
I mean, we've talked about this in regards to death matches. Like, going to a card that's all death matches, it's going to get really fucking old. It's the same with Hell in a Cell.
WrestleMania was good. I think WWE's hot. And they're white hot, and their audiences are growing, and their shit is really good, and they're doing it. And we've said on this podcast, we've been very anti-WWE, but we've always said there's no reason they shouldn't be the best company in the world. And they are.
And now they're proving that. Yeah.
They are, and they need to just keep going with it. So
absolutely.
That's all I got. I think we call it.
That's all I got.
I think we hit it.
This has been Gail Ruckinson, whatever I said earlier. This has been Gal.
Rollinson.
Son of Seth Rollins. That doesn't work. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. Gal, town, we're going to go now. Bye-bye. Wrestling is good. Stop telling people that they should stop having companies, bitches.